90 days sealed beneath the waves. No sunlight, no escape. Over 130 sailors rely on tightly organized meals, rationed air, and the brutal rhythm of sleeping in shifts, all inside steel corridors crammed with machinery. But how do they endure the monotony, the relentless pressure, and the vanishing line between routine and survival? The secrets of life underwater begin where comfort ends. Inside the submarine, the galley runs on a relentless schedule. Every 6 hours, the kitchen crew launches into action, prepping meals for more than 130 sailors who never eat at the same time. The galley itself is no bigger than a walk-in closet, yet it is packed with ovens, freezers, and shelves loaded with supplies. Fresh fruits and vegetables are the first to go, usually gone within 2 weeks of departure. After that, the menu depends on frozen meats, canned goods, and dried staples, stacked in every available nook and cranny, from floor to ceiling throughout the boat. The meal cycle never stops. Culinary specialists work in shifts that mirror the crew's rotating watches, ensuring that hot food is ready for every group coming off duty, no matter the hour. Each meal must be planned and executed with military precision. There is no room for error, and no chance for resupply once submerged. Inventory is managed down to the last can, with detailed logs tracking what is used and what remains. The kitchen staff checks freezer temperatures, rotates stock, and plans menus weeks ahead, always calculating how to stretch supplies for the full 90-day patrol. A former culinary specialist remembers the rhythm. They would start prepping breakfast before midnight, then roll straight into lunch. Clean up, prep, serve, repeat, every 6 hours around the clock. You get good at moving fast in tight spaces. There is no downtime, and you learn to make every ingredient count. This cycle forms the backbone of daily life, feeding the entire crew with unbroken regularity, no matter how far from the surface they are. Mess decks on a submarine become more than just a place to eat. They are the beating heart of the crew's social life. For every meal, sailors file into a space barely large enough for a handful of tables and benches, squeezing shoulder to shoulder with shipmates from every department. Because the submarine never sleeps, meals happen in shifts, with each group arriving on a different schedule dictated by the relentless rhythm of the watch rotation. Some sailors eat breakfast in the middle of the night, while others grab dinner at dawn. Each meal offers a rare pause from duty and a chance to reconnect. The menu is a steady cycle of familiar staples: rice, pasta, eggs, stews, sandwiches, and coffee that flows as steadily as the ocean outside. Over weeks and months, these meals repeat, becoming both a comfort and a test of patience. Yet even in this routine, small traditions rise up to break the monotony. Pizza night is a highlight. Cheese and pepperoni on trays cut into squares and served hot. A taste of home that draws laughter and stories from every table. On holidays, the kitchen crew pulls out all the stops, turning limited supplies into cakes, cookies, or a surprise batch of cinnamon rolls. These moments matter. They transform the mess deck into a place where birthdays are remembered, inside jokes are born, and the stress of life underwater fades for a little while. In the tight confines, every shared meal weaves the crew closer together. The mess deck becomes a stage for old sea tales, quiet encouragement, and the kind of camaraderie that can only grow in a world sealed off from sunlight and the surface above. Bunks line the narrow passageways, stacked 3 high and separated only by thin curtains. Each rack is barely the width of a grown man's shoulders, with just enough space to slide in, pull the curtain, and claim a few square feet of privacy. Most sailors keep a small shelf above their pillow, holding photos, a paperback, or a set of headphones. The hum of ventilation and machinery never fades, filling the compartment day and night. On a typical patrol, there are far fewer bunks than there are crew. 94 beds for a crew of 135 means hot bunking is the rule. As one sailor finishes a shift and heads out to stand watch, the next slides into the same still warm mattress. There is no sense of ownership, only routine. The curtain blocks the light, but not the movement or the ever-present noise. Sleep comes in fragments, broken by alarms, drills, or the shuffle of shipmates. The rotation runs on an 18-hour cycle. 6 hours on watch, 12 hours off, then repeat. In those 12 hours, sailors squeeze in meals, maintenance, bienvenidos, and whatever rest they can manage. For some, that means 4 hours of sleep, a fire drill, then another hour or two before the next shift begins. Over weeks, this pattern wears on the body and mind, leaving many in a fog of exhaustion. A junior sailor describes it like this: "You learn to sleep anywhere. I've nodded off with headphones on, with people climbing over my rack, with the lights on full. You take every minute you can get, because you don't know when you'll be woken up again." Physical and mental health are daily priorities beneath the ocean. In a space where movement is measured in steps, exercise becomes a ritual of discipline and necessity. The gym, if it can be called that, is often a corner of the torpedo room or a narrow passageway, outfitted with a stationary bike, a few free weights, and a rowing machine. Sailors take turns squeezing in workouts, using boxing gloves or resistance bands to keep muscles from fading during months without sunlight. Even a short session on the bike provides a break from the monotony, a way to shake off the fatigue that creeps in after endless shifts. Recreation is just as important. Off-duty hours fill with card games, chess matches, and well-worn paperbacks passed from rack to rack. Some crew members study for advancement exams, while others queue up movies on shared laptops or organize trivia nights that bring laughter echoing through the steel corridors. These small diversions help offset the stress of confinement, giving sailors a chance to relax and connect as a team. Routine drills punctuate the days and nights, demanding readiness for fire, flooding, or reactor emergencies. Every sailor, from the newest recruit to the most senior watchstander, practices these scenarios until response becomes instinct. The drills reinforce trust and competence, sharpening focus for the real dangers that lurk beyond the hull. Through shared effort, sweat in the gym, stories in the mess, and teamwork in drills, the crew builds a culture of resilience, turning isolation into unity. Every breath inside a submarine depends on a web of machines hidden behind bulkheads and beneath steel decks. Oxygen is produced by splitting water molecules through electrolysis, a process powered by the nuclear reactor deep in the vessel's core. Tanks store the generated oxygen and feed it into the air supply as engineers monitor levels around the clock. Carbon dioxide scrubbers remove exhaled carbon dioxide using chemical canisters that must be replaced and managed with precision. Humidity is kept in check by air handling units, preventing condensation that could damage sensitive electronics. Water, too, is a carefully managed resource. Desalination systems convert seawater to fresh, but most of the 40,000 gallons produce daily cool computers and navigation gear, not for drinking or showers. Engineers walk the narrow corridors, checking gauges and listening for irregularities, knowing that a single failure could threaten the entire crew. Survival here is measured in atmospheres and amperes, every system a lifeline. Aboard a submarine, connection to home arrives in just 40 words. Each week, sailors receive a family-gram, a message so brief it can only hint at birthdays missed or milestones back on land. There is no phone call, no video chat, only this rationed line of comfort, reviewed and delivered under strict security. The weight of those words is felt in every compartment, read and reread during quiet moments, a reminder of the world waiting above. For many, the submarine itself becomes a second family, bound by shared sacrifice and trust. Their mission is more than routine. It is a living legacy of silent patrols and unbroken deterrence, a tradition that began with the USS Nautilus and endures in every submerged watch. Pride and duty fill the space left by distance, shaping a crew that carries both the burden and the honor of unseen service. Even now, over 70 submarines patrol the world's oceans, silent and unseen, and crewed by those who accept isolation for collective security. Their endurance isn't just tradition, it's a living necessity. As global tensions shift beneath the surface, the strength of these crews remains an invisible line we all depend on.